AEW Dynamite is the second worst wrestling show of the week. This show was a waste of time. There were a couple of okay things that occurred on this show, but these Dynamites for months now have felt like just reruns of Collision. That's just what they have felt like, in my opinion. And I know I can't be alone in that assessment. Tony Khan needs to be removed, but he's not going to be. And that sucks. But these Dynamites are just becoming extensions of Rampage when it was on the air and Collision. And it's just not good. Like I said before, this show was a waste of time. We're going to get into AEW Dynamite from March the 5th, 2025. And we're also going to do predictions for Revolution. So it is what it is. Before we get into the review, Rey Fenix has officially been released from AEW, which is great. So we should be seeing him and Penta together again sometime in the near future. So that's great. So I'm glad that Rey Fenix has finally been granted his release, and now he's free. I just wish he would have kept his mouth shut on Twitter and not mentioned anything about, this whole ordeal. But thankfully, it worked out for him. All right. So we kicked the show off with MJF. So he makes fun of Hangman Adam Page. He's trying to push his buttons, and he's forcing him to do what he did last week. So he makes fun of Hangman Adam Page. He tells him to settle up for Revolution. Pause. Okay. This leads us into Swerve Strickland and Ricochet. The contract signing. Oh, boy. So Ricochet is still wearing the Philadelphia Eagles hat backwards. So Ricochet doesn't have the jacket. I mean, he doesn't have the embassy robe with him. He said that it's in safekeeping. So, Ricochet says that Swerve is lucky he's granting him this rematch, considering Swerve has been sticking his nose in Ricochet's business. He chose to mock Ricochet, and despite all that, Ricochet still beat him. Swerve Strickland, he's basically had enough of this. He tells Ricochet to sign the contract and to let the fans know what they think of him. Swerve says he's one step closer to achieving... No, my bad. Ricochet said that he's one step closer to achieving his goal of becoming an AEW World Champion. He's more focused than ever. So, Swerve says that he's going to expose him as a fraud on Sunday. He said that Ricochet has awakened the most dangerous man in all of AEW. It's a mistake that Ricochet will learn to regret. Swerve talks about putting Ricochet in the ground, and that he's going to end Ricochet's career. And then he says, along with that ring announcer wife of his, which is funny. That got a crack out of me, a laugh out of me. So both guys signed the contract. Ricochet is about to stab Swerve with some scissors. Swerve ducks, and then Swerve has some scissors of his own, and he busts Ricochet open with the scissors. And that was pretty interesting. So this is fine. Clearly, Swerve's going to get his win back come Sunday at Revolution. All right. That's fine there. Moving on. All right. So, going forward, AEW pay-per-views are going to be on Prime Video, Amazon Prime. That's fine. But this sucks because we're still going to have to pay the full price of pay-per-views. Of the AEW pay-per-view. And that's going to be $50. So, most of everybody should have an Amazon Prime account. Most of everybody should. It sucks that we can't get a discount. That's dumb. AEW's asking a little bit too much from its fans, in my opinion, because in April they're going to do Dynasty, which is going to be in early April, April the 6th, and that's going to be another $50. So you mean to tell me we basically have to spend $100 in basically in a month, in basically a month's time just to watch Revolution and AEW Dynasty? I don't know. And then my next question is, what was the point of them going to Max? So Max, they're not going to get the pay-per-view rights or whatever? Like, that's weird to me. And even at that, you should switch all your pay-per-views and stuff to Max. It would make more sense to me. I mean, at least that way we should be able to get like a discount. I'm saying maybe if you've got a Max account, you should maybe pay no more than maybe like $30 to watch these pay-per-views. I don't know, but that's just me thinking out loud. But damn, shit. But it is what it is. Oh boy. All right, moving on. This leads us into the first match of the night, which is an 8-man tag, which meant nothing. So Will Ospreay, Powerhouse Hobbs, Mark Briscoe, and Orange Cassidy, they defeat Brian Keith, Mark Davis, Lance Archer, and Brian Cage. Oh my God, this was lame as fuck. I wanted to burn my television to the ground once I saw this. So like I say, Will Ospreay wins, and then Will Ospreay gets his shit kicked in by the Don Callis family. So everyone basically beats up Will Ospreay. Kyle Fletcher brings in like a steel chair. They throw Will Ospreay into the steel chair a couple times. They hit him in the back of the head with a steel chair. That being Kyle Fletcher. And then Kyle Fletcher does the brain buster on the chair. And that was it. I'm just like, what the hell? This is too long of a segment. But it is what it is. I don't care about Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher. I just don't. I don't understand why you have Ospreay in this little boring mid-card feud with useless Kyle Fletcher. I get they're trying to push Kyle Fletcher, but he's not the guy you want to push at all. Same thing with Will Ospreay. But I don't care about this. Moving on. So, we get a video package talking about the history of Kenny Omega and Tenosuke Takeshita. Okay, that's fine. How the mighty have fallen. That being Edge. So Edge defeats Wheeler Yuta in about a 10-minute match. And this pissed me the fuck off. You mean to tell me it took Edge 10 minutes to beat a worthless sack of shit and Wheeler Yuta? Edge should have won this match in about less than a minute. More like 30 seconds. This should have been a squash match, if anything. And then post-match, Edge gets on the mic. He shakes Wheeler Yuta's hand. And Edge tells the youngest member of the Death Riders that this is what respect feels like. Oh my God. And I just wanted to I really wanted to really burn my television to the ground. AEW has ruined Edge. And forgive me when I say this. I apologize when I say this. And I don't really mean it, but I wish that Edge would have stayed retired. When he wrestled Sheamus almost 2 years ago, it would have been better if Edge would have stayed retired then. If I had known that Edge would have been doing some shit like this, oh boy, man, how the mighty have fallen, bro. My God. AEW literally is the promotion where legends' careers go to die. Holy shit. Man, do I feel bad for Edge. Damn. Moving on. Oh no, John Moxley, he came out. He got in Wheeler Yuta's face and all that and everything else. Wheeler Yuta basically shoved him and all that. Mox, he attempts to hunt down Wheeler Yuta. He goes to the back. He tells Wheeler Yuta to keep walking. So Mox says that he's managed to get the champ all alone, that being Edge. But Mox says he's going to enjoy every minute. Every moment of of what he does to Edge at Revolution. He mocks the show of respect shown with a handshake. He said, "Respect is only given to those not afraid to pull the trigger." I don't care about this shit. I really don't. I don't. This is a waste of fucking time. Oh my God. Oof. Moving on. So we get a video package of the Outrunners. They're doing like this training montage, which is great. That was pretty cool. I got a couple of chuckles out of that one. Moving on. So, MJF, he's in the parking lot. He's waiting on Hangman Adam Page to show up. Hangman attempts to run over MJF. Basically, MJF runs away. And, there's a guy who's playing a MJF, stuntman. And so Max then attacks Hangman from behind. They brawl. MJF is wearing a MJF Did Nothing Wrong shirt. They have a little beatdown. So Hangman is then taken out by the Dynamite Diamond Ring by Max. MJF gets on the mic and says, these people cheer Hangman Adam Page on when he burns things. So let's see how they react when he does it. So he gets lighter fluid, and he gets a lighter. He's about to light it, and then security, they're able to intervene. MJF yells, "Let me prove my point," and then they drag him out the ring. So this is a little bit too much, if you ask me. A little bit a little bit way too over the top for me. Doesn't make any sense. This is not a blood feud. This is not a blood feud at all. I don't know why they even had MJF do this shit, but it is what it is. Moving on. So the director of Queen of the Ring, he was backstage. He introduced Toni Storm. She put over the movie, and she wanted to do a scene nude. That was cool. Okay, moving on. So this leads us into Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford defeating Chris Statlander and Thunder Rosa. Chris Statlander needs to get out of AEW like nobody's business. I think it's time for her to move on to either NXT or TNA. I wish she could get with her lawyer and maybe attempt to buy out her contract so that could happen. But man, how the mighty have fallen. But it is what it is. Megan Bain, she got the win. This is fine, I guess. Moving on. So Mercedes Moné, she's backstage. She talks about her match against Momo Watanabe at Revolution on Sunday. So Moné gives Momo some props, but she promises on Sunday there's going to be no stopping the Moné train. Oh my God, this shit sucks. Moving on, Max Caster. He shows up and he still is doing his best wrestler alive open challenge nonsense. Jay White comes out, he answers it. Jay White defeats Max Caster with the Blade Runner. This only lasted about maybe like 10 seconds or whatever. I don't care about this shit. This is a waste of time. So Jay White gets on the mic to talk about how Edge is going to beat Jon Moxley for the title at Revolution. And he's going to be in the corner of Edge at Revolution. So this all but basically foreshadows him turning heel on Edge at some point. Moving on. We finally get some hope in this miserable show. That being the sit-down interview involving Mariah May and Timeless Toni Storm. So Mariah May spits in the face of Toni Storm. And Renee Paquette loses her shit over this. This is hilarious. So Mariah May promises to take down Toni Storm at Revolution. She says they can have the Hollywood ending they always dreamt of and deserved. So Toni Storm then sentences Mariah May to a life of mediocrity, as people will ask what will happen and realize that this is what happens when you try to fight God. And the two of them, they come nose to nose, and then Renee says she prays that that none of them won't get seriously hurt. And then they both respond by saying, pray for her. I like this. This was some really, really good shit here. Excellent stuff here. Moving on, main event of the evening. Ricochet and Kazuchika Okada, they defeated Swerve and Brody King. So Okada, he brought in the Continental title towards the end of the match. He threw it out the ring real quick. Ricochet grabbed it. He hit Swerve with it, and then he pinned Swerve 1, 2, 3. And that was the end of the show. That was the end of Dynamite. This makes sense. We all know that Swerve is going to win on Sunday. But this wasn't a good show. The MJF stuff was pretty cool. That was about it. All right, so let's get into the predictions for Revolution. There are 10 matches on the card. So this should probably be like a 3 to maybe 4 hour show. I hope not. This really should be about like a 3 hour show tops. But AEW is going to always keep their 4 to 5 hour format pay-per-view nonsense, which is a bunch of bullshit, but it is what it is. So, like I said before, we've got 10 matches. All right, so it's a trios match, which is going to be Big Boom AJ and the conglomeration. Orange Cassidy and Mark Briscoe going up against Johnny TV, which is John Morris and Johnny Nitro, Johnny Impact, and MXM Collection. Mason Mansoor. How the mighty have fallen. Man, oh man. Oh, I feel so bad for Johnny TV. I wish that he was in TNA. I really do. I don't care who wins this. It'll probably be the baby faces. I don't care about this shit. Moving on. So, Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher in a steel cage. Will Ospreay's more likely going to get his win back. So, I don't care about this shit. Moving on. Kazuchika Okada versus Brody King for the AEW Continental Championship. Kazuchika Okada is obviously going to retain. Moving on. The Hurt Business, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin versus the Outrunners, Turbo Floyd and Truth Magnum for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Obviously, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, they're going to win. The Hurt Syndicate, that's fine. I hope that I hope that Cedric Alexander stays far away from AEW. For real. Moving on. Mercedes Moné versus Momo Watanabe for the TBS Championship. Mercedes Moné is going to win this one. I don't care about this shit at all. This is a waste of time. This should have been on Collision or even Dynamite. Same thing with the Hurt Syndicate and the Outrunners. Both of those matches just feel like TV matches to me. Moving on. A match that I'm looking forward to. Swerve Strickland versus Ricochet. The winner of the match will be the new AEW number one contender for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Swerve is going to obviously win, so I would assume that Swerve is going to face Moxley at Dynasty in April, early April. So that's how that's going to go. Moving on. Another match I'm looking forward to is Toni Storm versus Mariah May. The rubber match, part 3, the trilogy. Falls Count Anywhere match for the AEW's Women's World Championship. Toni Storm is going to win this. This makes perfect sense. And I'm hoping that they start to do or begin to build Mercedes Moné versus Toni Storm for Double or Nothing in May. You got 2 months to build this shit, Tony. Go ahead and start building this shit if you can. Moving on, Tanosuke Takeshita versus Kenny Omega for the AEW International Championship. Kenny Omega is going to win this. I would imagine maybe post-match they do an angle where they beat down Tanosuke Takeshita, and maybe Josh Alexander shows up and he's now the new member of the Don Callis family. So maybe that's how he'll debut. I don't know. Moving on, main event of the evening, Jon Moxley versus Edge for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Jon Moxley's going to win. I only care about, at best, 2 matches. Everything else on the card, I just really don't give a shit about. Oh, I forgot to mention Hangman Adam Page and MJF. Hangman's going to win this. Like, why wouldn't he win this shit? You know? I feel like they're going to save Hangman and Moxley for Double or Nothing, so that's where this is all going to lead. So, there's that. Again, I don't too much care about what AEW is doing right now. This was an awful go-home show, and Revolution, hopefully, it can be decent. But what did you guys think of Dynamite, and what are your predictions for Revolution? Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.